Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today for the RoupCycle podcast. I'm Darren from Cheeky Monkey Videos. This is obviously Roup Onanian, and thank you for joining us in the studio. We've had a lot of questions coming in as to what you're getting up to, why you're in the studio, why you're investing so much money in the filming side of things for marketing. And obviously we have a lot of conversations from behind the camera normally when the camera's cut. So we thought, let's turn it into a bit of a podcast episode. I can extract a bit of education out of you, and hopefully you guys enjoy it and you can tune in for the next one. So Roup, thanks for joining me again.
Thank you for having me there. This is easier now. This is been over the camera and we chat.
And probably easier than talking straight to a camera as well. We can just have pure conversation. So I want to start off with, we like doing the roundups as well. I think people enjoy the roundups of how your month has gone. So right now we're at the end of February. So I want to find out how your February's gone, what updates you've got for us as well.
So our February we had some really busy days and some really quiet days, but we had some quite good, more interesting jobs.
Right.
We went back to the ship job. Then on our social media, we put the picture of the cruise liner that comes in. We do the offensive waste for that. We also do a few ships at Tilbury Docks as well, up in London. But this one's in Portsmouth. I think next time it comes back will be in March, so that's quite a good job.
That's nice and local to you as well, isn't it?
Yeah, because I'm down that way, so that's good. And another good, we said at the beginning of the year that we were going to cover more of the UK. So we've been doing that a lot more, especially with the strip out jobs for the coffee shops and the shops. And
that's through your network alliance that you talked about last time.
That's it. So especially with skip hire this month, we've got skips at the moment, Cambridge, a lot more in London, and also through the network we were able to do a big office clearance job as well. That was up near Birmingham.
Right.
So we really have covered a lot more of the UK.
And these are all new jobs that have come in, or existing clients, or
it's on the skips is 50-50, new customers and existing. And the office clearance, they'd used us before for a job down, I think, Farnham way. So
that's always a good sign that you've got existing clients that keep reusing you, obviously, your services, but also you're picking up new clients along the way as well, because that's kind of the holy grail of running a business, isn't it?
Yeah, and so also with the offices, there's a bit of a mix between they're clearing out, they're either going to like self-service offices, and then we've also been doing partial office clearances with the electrical waste, where they're getting new tech coming in, and we're taking away redundant IT equipment.
Right, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, which leads on to we've been doing a lot more electrical waste this month. We've just been taking it in. I think there were scanners. We've been stripping them and palletizing it. That's gone up to the Midlands. They get resorted, all the different boards. They're all graded, and then
reused and recycled.
Yeah, they get. Then they're stripped down further, and then they're taken to the refinery.
Got it.
And then they extract the gold and other precious metals.
And I suppose that's happening more and more as well, with commercial companies going to, downsizing obviously to service offices, smaller offices, more people working from home. And so they've got these massive empty, even around here, there's loads of empty space with big companies moving out and downsizing.
And then they come down here. Yeah.
And they're going to RoupCycle as well, by the sounds of it.
Yeah. So it's perfect. So it's good. So that's been good for us.
Brilliant.
And loads of local jobs. Still with a lot for the plumbers, the heating engineers, where we've been pushing that quite a lot more. We've been doing a lot more of the boiler and packaging collections, a lot of air conditioning. They're the same. But they have like either the old equipment, especially like the big heat pumps and things like that, and then the packaging. So they're quite good regular jobs for us.
Yeah.
And
I suppose once you work with a plumber and they've got a job, they've constantly got jobs. They're just going to go to RoupCycle again every single time, aren't they? As long as they're happy.
And then they're also happy because they get all the copper and the brass from the jobs, which we then buy.
Win-win.
Yeah, which I'll speak a bit more about that when we have a chat maybe about the marketing, because we've tried something new, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's one of my later questions as well for you, so that's fine.
And so all in all, it hasn't been such a bad month on the job front.
So year on year, I'm guessing to last February, this is exponential growth?
Yeah, February is normally sometimes a quieter month, which is good in a way, because although there've been like bigger and better jobs. So when you talk about growth, we've like grown in terms of the size of the jobs that we're doing.
But I think in one of your earlier videos, you mentioned that as well. You're trying to cater for the bigger jobs rather than small pick up from a home, a sofa to get rid of. You're going for more corporate clients and commercial.
Yeah, so. For commercial, and
you're still doing the residential.
We're doing more on the commercial front, and we've been doing a lot more bin stores as well. That's another.
Okay.
Yeah, so actually that goes back to talking about like covering more of the country. We've been doing a lot more bin stores now, from Middlesex even down to Lymington this month. So
is that because you're marketing for that, or just clients are finding you that's the requirement they've got?
It's been both marketing, pushing that out on LinkedIn, and also that our response time is quick. We're getting the inquiries in, or the repeat block managers, facilities managers. Their residents are complaining to them. They're getting emails, photos, and it just needs to get done now. If you don't deal with it urgently, the waste builds up. You get vermin and unhappy residents. So we've been aiming for a 12-hour response time. If it comes in the evening, we aim to get there in the morning.
Right.
And that is seeing a lot of repeat work. And I think it will always be repeat work, because these bin stores, the council bin men have been rejecting some of the general waste bins. I mean, we found everything. I think we put it on the social media. We found an old van door in a bin. Some guys tipped a load of tools in a bin, and so these aren't things. So we get called out for weird and wonderful things in these bin stores. People put their bulky waste in there. So they've been really good jobs for us actually, and they've actually just kept us going. A lot of the good infill jobs.
Okay, so how are you dealing with that from an infrastructure point of view as a business? Because obviously you've touched on your the network alliance that you have as well, that you can tap into, people who are vetted and you trust to take on jobs nationwide. How else are you dealing infrastructure wise? You mentioned about the website rebuild. Is that completed and launched, or
it'll be launched at the end of March?
Fab. Okay.
So the new website will be launched at the end of March, and we've had a lot more inquiries recently, especially for the shredding and the electrical waste.
Fine.
So,
and how are you dealing with that in the back end? I know you've got Michelle as an office manager. Is she obviously completely stacked out with work and inquiries, and that's why you've got the 12-hour response times in terms of getting quotes out, getting people to the job?
We are. The aim is to respond quicker. Michelle's been great in the office. Takes the initial call or the email, and then we use a back-end CRM system. All our jobs are listed on that, and we have some leeway for urgent jobs. And each day we know that we're going to get several like on the day bookings, so we kind of allow for those, and we prioritize a lot of our commercial block managers, because we know that they need those urgent call outs.
You mentioned CRM, obviously customer relationship management software.
I'm glad you said that. I was wondering what it meant.
To be able to track jobs, invoice jobs, and just basically project manage the entire thing for you. We have one that literally runs our entire business. We work with companies where we build the CRM systems for them that run their business. What still astounds me is companies who do not have a CRM system that runs anything. They're still on NCR pads. I'll get you a quote. They're just writing it on a napkin. They forget to send quotes. So obviously you've invested quite heavily in the tech side as well, the software side, to make sure it can run your business and you can scale up.
And these things grow all the time, these CRM systems. There's a new plugin, and I don't think we use it till it's full potential. There are so much that these programs use, but I still know guys that are running these businesses with a diary, and then they're running around like, oh, I can't find it, and thinking.
And their clients are like, well, they didn't get back to me. Well, did you quote them? Or maybe I forgot. Well, how do you trace that apart from emails? It's just a complete nightmare. And still, like I say, we see hundreds of businesses every year. We work with them.
Yeah.
Still astounds me the amount of people who've got little paper calendars or NCR pads. Whereas you obviously, like I say, you're investing quite heavily in the tech side, the software, to make sure everything runs seamlessly and you can scale up.
Yeah, because on those NTR pads, we used to do all the waste transfer notes on them. And then you end up with a rolled up booklet at the end. So even we do the jobs for customers now, the guys, they go out with the app. It's got all the jobs on there. Yeah, we could plan it, do this job first, that job. But with waste, people say, oh, it's easy, they go out and do the jobs, and you think, yeah, but the problem is sometimes you get half load here, half load there, then you've got to go and tip, so you can't always do it geographically. But and we allow the guys to kind of plan their own day. To an extent, we had one job this morning and the vans were right there, the van was empty, so we say, like, do this one as the priority, but we give a window to the customers. Or
I suppose common sense and logic has to factor into it as well.
Yeah, boys have been there for a long time. They know.
It's the experience.
Yeah, and I think that autonomy, is good. But so on those systems, they're good. They go to the job, they take a before and after photo, and fill out the details of volume, weight, where it's going, van reg, and then that creates the waste transfer note. For the customer. Digitally? Yeah, digitally. So you don't get a piece of paper anymore. Yeah. It's all done digital.
But in this day and age, there's no excuse not to do things digitally. It's all, you can have an app for it. The CRM system links to it.
Yeah.
No one wants pieces of paper. No one wants paper invoices. And also, we know of companies in your industry where, I think you said ratty-tatty van. That stuck with me. They turn up in a ratty-tatty van, bits of paper, and you're just like, it just doesn't sit well. There's no branding on their T-shirts. And especially corporate clients, they can't be dealing with that. They want professionalism throughout.
Oh, yeah, commercial customer. And especially when you're dealing with customers that have got ISO accreditation, then like compliance is so important. And that's, what we were talking about, the ratty-tatty vans. Funny enough, a friend of mine was saying this week, that is their unique selling point, that they are cheap. And that's not our unique selling point. Our unique selling point is, like I'm saying, the urgency, the compliance, and that's what our customers want.
And that's the demographic that you're after. I understand that others want to go for the cheap look. They want the cheap, very quick jobs. Whereas I'd imagine a facilities manager isn't going through Facebook looking for the cheapest price. They're looking at LinkedIn, they're looking at websites, they're doing their due diligence. They want to make sure you turn up professional, you turn up on time, you actually get the job done, and you're not fly tipping on the back end of it as well. So even if your prices are 5% more than somebody else, I don't think that really factors in.
Yeah, and that's of course, and so we are that bit more expensive, but that's what you're getting. Compliance, a professional team turning up.
Peace of mind. All right, so that's February. I know we're going to do a roundup at the end of March, but can you give me a little sneak peek into March and what you might expect in March? Is it busier?
March, we've booked quite a few repeat customers already. It was their first time used us in February, especially this electrical waste company. They're closing down a warehouse, so they've booked in for another one load so far, but possibly another load. Again, that'll be stripped and done. And the shop fitters, they seem to be taking on more and more. Where they're a chain, they've been taking on more and more properties lately. So we're going to have, I think there's another 2 sites for March coming up.
Okay.
One a little bit more local, which is quite good because, with the travel time.
I can imagine, yeah. But I suppose on the other side of it, you've got shops that take on new shops and new premises.
Yeah.
But even the high streets around here, a lot of them are closing down, so they still need the waste management as well, I guess.
Yeah.
So you still come into factor there.
Yeah, it's still coming into factor. And also going back to where we're talking about bin stores, there's also the fly tips where these like shops are vacant or the properties are vacant. People start fly tipping out the back of them.
Right.
So then we get a lot of work from the commercial estate agents, and
the landlords as well, I guess.
Yeah, the landlords, they want those areas clean. They're going to show like new tenants round.
Yeah.
And also once those areas start to get fly tipped and it's not dealt with, then the waste builds up
because it attracts more fly tipping.
Exactly. So
fine. Okay. So March is going to be bigger than last year, I'm assuming.
March is going to be bigger than last year, and the sun came out this week as well. So
it soon went away after.
Yes, it gets people moving.
It does. Okay. Are you taking on, obviously you are having this exponential growth as well, which is great, but are you taking on more in-house staff? Have you increased your fleet of vans, or are you trying to be a bit more lean with that? How's that working for you?
So we sold off 2 vans this month.
Right.
And they were older vehicles. But this year, like when we spoke before about building up our network of like waste partners.
Yeah.
So on our wheelie bin side, we are going to be working more with partners. So we're not going to buy newer vehicles for that. Also, you'd need like larger dust carts, and as the rounds have grown, it's then easier to keep costs down for the customers by tagging on to another partner's round, because they're already in the area. They might do the same bins on the same high street.
Yep. And they've got the infrastructure to
and they've got the infrastructure. They've got multiple vehicles, so you have reliability.
Yeah.
Like to your customer, basically, that a vehicle's going to turn up.
Yep. And you've obviously, I know you've got quite a heavy vetting process to work with these people, so they are going to have the reputation, the credibility, everything that you'd be proud to have as RoupCycle.
Yeah.
And I guess you're probably getting much cheaper prices, preferential rates, because of the amount you put through them as well, which you then pass on to customers.
Yeah, it's on volume. Yeah. So and talking about costs, where we've had increases in the from the waste transfer stations. Our costs have gone up 7 to 9%.
In what, 12 months?
For tipping costs going forward.
Got it.
For the year. So we've been able to put our prices up on some of our services 6%, because we're working with others. We're disposing on a larger volume, and we can keep the operating costs lower, so we can pass that over to our customers. Whereas
other companies would have to then pass on that 9% to keep the same profit margins. Okay, good.
So, and also where a lot of our customers are small businesses as well, and well, we're a small business, so they feel that pinch. We want to keep them, and we don't want it to be, I mean, it's expensive waste, but it's just another bill and expense that you don't want to have
as a small business, because they're getting hit left, right and centre, as we all know. You feel it. But also you don't want to get to a point where you're raising your prices so much that they think, I need to shop around and get the ratty-tatty van to turn up. So it's good that you're absolving some of that cost as well for them. So, okay.
So we're doing that. And
so it's busy March.
Yeah. I'm excited really for March. Especially when this sun comes out as well.
More so for that.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, that leads me on to the marketing side of things. Right. So you changed up your marketing technique, your tactics. You want to try different things. You obviously had the studio video sessions. You want to invest heavier into video. And that was back in January, isn't it? This is sort of your 3rd month going into it.
That's it.
How is that working out? Because we're seeing some of the comments and stuff.
Yeah, we filmed it in December. Then, it came out in January. So it's exactly like this, really. Rather than I'm saying about what we've done in the month and the things that we are going to be doing next month, things that work, things that don't work, rather than writing this all down now onto a piece of paper, emailing it out, and then you're seeing like, did they open it? Did they not open it?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's so easy just to have a chat on a camera.
100%. And obviously
and it comes out, and the reach, like the amount of people that have said, oh, I'm seeing you're very active now on social media. So people are seeing us. I've been working really hard on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Every day posting, every day getting some exposure. And I don't know why I never thought about it before, but what I really like about LinkedIn is you get past the gatekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to speak to, the person that's head of this or owns the business,
like the facilities manager.
Exactly.
Whereas you can cold call reception. There's no way they're going to put you through to facilities. You got to go around the houses to try and find them. Whereas LinkedIn, you can target them, and they can see a little 1-minute video of you going, he seems very professional. We're looking at waste management. Let's get him rather than a faceless company that who knows who's going to turn up.
And it's the same thing we did with before with some. We wanted more tattoo studios. We went onto Instagram.
Is that the clinical waste?
Yeah, on the clinical waste side. We followed them. We sent them a message. You may already be have a service provider. Should anything come, please just get in touch when you're ready. And the sales went up. So it's been the same on LinkedIn, where we've been connecting, putting our content, and then we've been engaging with the people that we connect. It's not just been a connect, leave it and let them see. Been messaging, and it's been positive. And I won't speak about it now, but we've got some like bits in the lineup. We've been filling out application forms to work with others as well.
Right.
So, hopefully in a few months' time we can chat about how we converted the videos to connection.
You've got the stats.
To the jobs.
Because I think at the moment a lot of people are going to look in going, well, that's quite a fluffy answer. You spent £500. Did you get £500 back? But again, we work with so many companies. I know the answer is going to be the same for you as well. But you've got the intangible, you've got the tangible benefits. Yeah. You've got the branding and the brand perception. So it's also looking at the long term. People, especially in corporate, they're going to look at doing their due diligence. Yeah. They're going to go to your website, your LinkedIn. They've got you in uniform, educating them about waste management. Or they've got XYZ company on a website, no pictures, God knows who's going to turn up. So you have got that long-term branding and the perception of your company as well that you're putting out with the videos. And it's a generation where people want to watch a 1-minute video and go, oh, that's cool. Yeah.
It's a recognition.
It's recognition, it's branding. Yeah. And that's sort of, I'd say that's still tangible. It's not a case of I spent £500, I got £1,000 back. It's really hard to answer that. Yeah. Because the videos are going to be a part of what they see of you. Then they'll go to your website. Then they'll probably see one of your vans on the roads. Yeah. And you're just trying to build up that ecosystem.
Yeah. I actually met a guy a few years back. He worked for, he was head of marketing for a mattress magazine, for a mattress company. Right. And I said, how do you sell mattresses? And he says, you don't. You just ingrain it into them, because the adults are only going to buy like 2-3 mattresses in their lifetime. Yep. So you want to make sure that when they are ready,
your name pops into their head.
Yeah, your name pops in. And it's the same with us. People, they're in a contract. They might be in a contract for a year or 3 years. Nothing we can do about it. So hopefully when you're out of the contract, you remember who we are. And you've seen enough about our day-to-day, enough about our business.
You've seen the branding out there. You're going
to recognise it.
And it builds a trust as well in their minds.
Yeah, and trust is important.
Massively, especially when you talk in corporate, and to be fair, even residential as well. Mm-hmm. I don't want anyone just turning up at my door. No. I've still got to trust them. Yeah. Whereas I want a professional outfit. And like I say, if it costs me another 5% to have a company like yours, I don't want to sound too biased, but a company like yours turning up, professional vans, sign written, professional uniform, respectable, I'd rather that and just pay the extra 5%. Yeah.
And also, I think where you talk about spend X and then are you getting back the same money or more, I find it a lot with SEO as well. You could spend your money. Sometimes, like people say to me, how much do you spend on Google ads, and then you say how much, and I don't want to spend that. All right, fine, but are you getting that money back? And sometimes you say, well, how do you know sometimes, but sometimes you might not get that money back that month in the jobs. But for example, we've got a big customer who uses us ad hoc for the clinical waste. He would have only found us through paying for the SEO, and so every month their spend has paid back pretty much all the SEO. So
it's kind of the answer I expect.
If that's how you say it, yeah.
And I think a lot of people who maybe don't deal with the marketing, especially in small businesses, they don't understand that. It's the lifetime value of a client, for one.
Yeah.
That client, even for us, might take 3-4 months. They might be looking at studios, they might be looking at video marketing.
Yeah.
But they're not ready to make that decision for another 6 months.
Well, I think even when we first spoke, it was
a while.
About 3 months before we...
Yeah, but it's not the sort of thing, again, even waste management, you might think, yeah, we need it, but I don't need it right now.
Yeah.
But then I've seen you on Google, I've seen your videos on LinkedIn, then I go on Instagram and there you are pointing at bins.
Yeah.
And I'll see your vans driving down the road.
Yeah.
By the time I want to make that decision 3 months later, 6 months later, I'm like, oh, that RoupCycle, they do that and they seem professional.
And the pointing at bins is still... I'm still getting asked. We're making all this. We've got the studio, and then I went somewhere the other day, and people are still asking about the pointing at bins video. There was one, we were at a bin store. I couldn't believe it. You were like seeing how many views you get for these videos. Yeah. There's one I dived into the bin the other day, and it came out like 15,000 views.
Now that you've said that, everyone's going to tune out of this podcast and go and find that video.
I jumped in the bin for a little bit of copper. I got 15,000 views. And then there's the other ones that we're editing and doing everything else. And yeah, and so
there's no point.
What people want.
There's no point trying to guess the algorithm. The thing is, you've got to be putting out professional content. You've got to be putting out the fun content as well.
Yeah.
People on social media to be entertained.
Yeah.
So Instagram, TikTok, you jumping in bins is obviously going to work better than you trying to educate people on waste management. Whereas LinkedIn, people aren't looking to be entertained. They want to be.
No, exactly.
They want that professional reach. Yeah. So the fact you're trying to encompass all of that with your marketing is great. And I'm guessing I know the answer to this. Have you stopped all the older style marketing, like the flyers and the direct mail, and there's no yellow pages anymore, but that sort of thing? That's all.
There's no yellow pages anymore, but they still ask about the community magazines.
Yes.
And they used to work for us years ago.
Right.
When we first started, but now, no. It isn't for us.
Yeah, I think we get mixed reactions to that. Sometimes it works for plumbers, electricians. I think they're always advertising there. It seems to work for them. And others are like, oh, it costs us £100, so we do it, but we get nothing off of it.
And actually, we must have years ago put in a coupon, you get 10% off.
Right.
I don't know how many years ago that was, and someone the other day used us and said they want to redeem it.
And did you take it?
Yeah, well, we still honoured it.
Fair enough.
But I was crying a little bit inside of it.
So with regards to how you're marketing, because you said to me when you came in, like, I'm not going to do this for a month and just go, it works, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know it's going to be long and sustained. I think you said something like, for 6 months, I'm going to do this and make sure it works. The way it's going so far, do you see video as an integral part of what you're doing, or is it something you might switch out for something else and try something else in 3 months' time?
Yeah, I see it works. I think there is the side of, like we keep talking about, the brand recognition.
Yep.
You've got another side where you've got a lot of young employees that work for these more corporate companies. They've grown up with social media.
Yep.
That is their Google for them, or their search engine. And I think that's only ever going to grow. So I think, like, starting now and keeping it going, it is the future really of it. There's like we talk about we used to do flyers and the community magazines. Then how do you get jobs? Right, there's Google. You go on Google. Now you see a lot of the company owners or employees, they're making videos. They want video content. And also on another side, I asked the customer, how did you hear of us? Thinking he's going to say, oh, you're like Google AdWords. And he said, oh, I just asked ChatGPT.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh, right. Now we got another way. And actually, I'm using ChatGPT also to ask questions rather than even using Google. So everything is moving on and progressing.
And you're trying to keep up with it.
Yeah, you're trying to keep up with it. And so, yeah, great for the youngsters. They find you, they engage with it. But also where I think where I was like saying before, we're talking about like more of the fun content that you would put on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
But also a lot of the, you look at plumbers, even, or other business owners. Yes, they are on LinkedIn, but they're also
TikTok.
They're also like doom scrolling in their free time, in their van, in their office, on these. So yeah, they do. They do see you on there.
Which is the good thing about you creating different types of videos as well. You got you jumping in bins, but then you got the professional educational videos as well. So you're hitting people from both sides, which is great. But I think that's a really good answer. Wasn't sure I was expecting it, but that's a really good answer about the people. For example, back in the day, it was marketing directors, 60 years old. Marketing directors now, we know that are 25, 26.
Yeah.
And like you said, they've grown up with TikTok. That is part of their life.
Yeah.
So they've gone into these corporate jobs, scrolling TikTok, going on LinkedIn, but also checking Instagram, probably on Snapchat, some of them as well. So you are trying to hit that generation where they expect you to be on Instagram, they expect you on TikTok and on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
They want to watch videos because they can't be bothered to read a 12-page brochure about how great waste management is.
Yeah.
So,
and even YouTube. Okay, maybe not for like company, but if I need to see how something works, I YouTube it rather than looking at the instructions. So
I think that's one of the most common search terms is how to on YouTube. Really? It's always how to. And it's an explainer of instructions for things. Your washing machine, that's the most common search for term on YouTube to fix things.
So it's powerful, and I've had a lot of, I'll say older business customers.
Be careful how you say that.
I'm 40, so. But does it work, Roup? And I said, you just got to give it a go. And, I saw another video and this, and I'm saying, well, try it. And I have noticed more and more, especially builders and the trades guys trying a little bit more. But what I have learned since we've been doing this, it's consistency. Every day, even put one post up is that is what I have learned.
Well, I saw the first thing you did. I'm guessing I know what you did. First thing you came into the studio, you're doing like a behind the scenes thing.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's going to be on your social media today. Yeah, okay, fine. But it's just so easy to do. Everyone's got a phone in their hand. So even if you're fitting a boiler, just taking a before and after doesn't take a lot. And people go, okay, he's actually busy. He's actually doing jobs. Yeah. I just think it's important. I don't want this to sound like, because obviously we're a video production company, I don't want it to sound like video's the be all and end all of everything. The reason I brought it up was we can see from your comments and your DMs, obviously we manage a lot of it as well, people asking about, Roup, you're in waste management, why are you doing videos? What's the point? Like, is it working for you? Mm-hmm. So I think I wanted to kind of delve into that a little bit as to why you're doing it, and hopefully people understand now the investment you're putting into it and why you're doing it, and the fact that you are seeing it working for you. Whether it's right now or in 3 months' time or 6 months' time, people are watching these videos and you are getting a bigger reach than you would do otherwise.
Because also what we're doing now is we're just sat here. I'm in waste management. We've got no bins around us. We've got no rubbish. I'm not loading anything. We're having a chat, and I'm hoping, or this should be more engaging for everyone, rather than creating a video. Here's the pile of rubbish. Here's how we loaded it. I'm off here. I mean, you can make those all day, every day. They're not really my cup of tea. And I find also you get followed more by other waste companies, which is not who we're targeting. Corporate trade, the customers that we really want.
But it's good they're keeping their eyes on you, because they're going, well, what's Roup up to and what's RoupCycle up to, that we can maybe try and mimic as well,
and do the same. So I'm enjoying it so far. I think we continue. And then your friends are like, oh, another video. I'm like, don't put it on the boys group. Put it on social media. Make a comment on that. Yeah. Build up the algorithms. And actually, funny enough, that video that had the big hits, the like little abuse comments that you get though.
Oh, the trolls, the keyboard warriors.
But I'm like, yeah, come on, let's get a bit more. Let's get the algorithm
Helps the algorithm,
going.
exactly.
Yeah, like it. So they're quite good. And yeah, so marketing.
What I like about what you're doing is how proactive you are, and you don't have to be. You've got the vans, you've got the network alliance. You can just do what you're doing and just float about. You're looking more long term and going, well, we know people are watching videos. Let's invest in videos. We know we need a CRM system. Let's build and buy a CRM system.
Yeah.
So you're always investing in how can we make RoupCycle more scalable, more seamless, offer more to clients without ripping them off, but also keep that professional aspect as well. So, and I'm seeing that from obviously sitting with these videos and the stuff you talk about with me to understand that. And obviously you want to educate people of going, well, this is the difference between us and getting a ratty-tatty van. This is clinical waste. This is what we use for that, and the shredding and talking a bit about your month as well. So that's a huge investment of your time doing that, but you want to educate people about RoupCycle.
Yeah, we want people to know where we are today, how we're because also like where the waste industry is moving on, waste is going digital as well. So I think the only thing, because it's a government thing, everyone's like not really too sure 100% how it's all going, but it will be a digital waste transfer note. The customer's going to have that when you tip off, and then it gets passed down the chain, so everything is traceable.
Right.
And maybe in the videos to come in the future, where ourselves and others know more about it, and we can educate, or we can help people to understand where this is going. So if you do get a collection and you don't receive this from the customer, you know that you can point this out. Yes, they can have a waste carrier's license, which the majority of plumbers have these waste carrier's license, because they put the rubbish in the van. If you get stopped, and you're carrying waste, you'd get a fine. So
I remember one of your other videos, you said my nan can get a waste carrier's license.
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
so easy to get one.
So that's why I think this is good, that everything's going to be digital and track. The customers are going to know that they need the compliance.
But the customers don't know what they don't know. They're not into waste management. They just want their rubbish collected and gone.
Yeah, outside, out of mind.
Precisely. Whereas if they know about all this compliance, all the paperwork, everything that has to go behind the scenes, they know the questions to ask the waste carrier that's turning up at their door.
Yeah. And this is the same with the Environment Agency made upholstery hazardous waste. They call it POPs.
Right.
And so we have to pay additional fees to dispose of upholstery. It's shredded and incinerated. It's all segregated when we tip off. So this is another thing that we charge the customers for, but maybe there should be some more education put there by the Environment Agency, by government, to say, because sometimes we mention this to customers, especially on the domestic side, and because their other quotes haven't included this, where it's going, I don't know, we leave that for them. But
you look at the cheapest price and go, I'll go with that one, without knowing what happens behind the scenes or what should happen behind the scenes.
And the waste is burnt, or it's taken here, or
or it's fly tipped.
So,
we won't go into that. That's a different episode. I think that's plenty of education for February.
Yep.
And we'll catch up again in March.
Yeah.
So Roup, thank you so much for joining us again, and we'll see you next month. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it, got some value from it. Please do comment, like, share. If you've got any questions for Roup regarding his marketing, the waste management side of things, anything you want to know about the industry as well, put it in the comments or drop him a message. Check out RoupCycle, their website, their social media. You can see Roup jumping in bins pretty much every other day.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.